Some songs are instant classics. From the moment Hound Dog was released, you knew people were going to be listening to it forever.
You ain't nothing but...
Other songs, however, are super popular when they come out, but decades later seem cliché and inane. And it's that second group that we're gonna be looking at today, as we dive headfirst into some of the cheesiest songs of the 1970s. Some of these songs just seem silly. Some are so saccharine as to make you gag, and others just stray a little too close to racism. But all of them have a cheese factor off the charts. I'm Nostalgic Nick for Do You Remember, and be sure to hit that thumbs up button for us, and subscribe to the channel for even more throwback fare. But now, bring on the brie. The Streak, Ray Stevens.
And he ain't wearing no clothes. Oh, yes, they call him the Streak.
For some reason in the mid-1970s, America became obsessed with the idea of streaking. Streakers were everywhere, in the newspapers, on TV shows, sporting events, and Robert Opel even streaked across the stage of the Oscars.
Probably the only laugh that man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings.
And the culmination of this fad, Ray Stevens' cheesy 1974 #1 hit, simply titled The Streak. The song's 3 verses open with a news reporter interviewing an eyewitness to 3 separate instances of streaking. It turns out that the same man was there all 3 times, which seems suspicious to me. He reports that he had to yell to his wife Ethel to cover her eyes, but she's too late every time, and always gets an eyeful. By the end of the song, Ethel has left the man for the streaker, so she apparently liked what she saw. If this sounds like an awesome idea for a song to you, I'm just not sure, because it's so cheesy and not great. Fortunately, much like its namesake fad, the Streak's popularity has faded since its heyday, and hopefully won't ever be revived. But if you want to relive some groovy fads, we do have a collection of 1970s fads to take you back. Kung Fu Fighting, Carl Douglas. Now we have the hit that kicked its way into people's hearts and minds. Literally, because during the summer of 1974, everyone was kung fu fighting, with lines like there were funky Chinamen from funky Chinatown, and using a melody unfortunately named the Oriental Riff. This song was always going to be problematic even if it was sung by an Asian American. Of course, it wasn't. It was sung by Jamaican vocalist Carl Douglas, which makes kung fu fighting's underlying racism that much worse. And moving beyond the poor racial stereotypes, the song is just plain dumb. With exaggerated huzz and ha-has meant to imitate karate, the song veers from interesting novelty to cheesy mess almost instantly. The worst thing about it is how dang catchy kung fu fighting is. Once you hear it, the rest of your day is ruined, as Those Cats Were Fast as Lightning plays on repeat in your head. Hopelessly Devoted to You, Olivia Newton-John. Guess mine is not the first heart broken. My eyes are not the first to cry. I'm not the first to know. There's just no getting over you. If this opening line to Hopelessly Devoted to You isn't the definition of cheeseball, then I don't know what is. The song was sung by Olivia Newton-John in the hit movie Grease, and it just doesn't get any better after that whopper of an opening stanza. It's chock full of some of the most stereotypical saccharine smalts you could ever come up with. My heart is saying don't let go. Hold on to the end. That's what I intend to do. I'm hopelessly devoted to you. Oof, makes me dry heave just a bit. And then you remember that this is a 16-year-old singing about a 17-year-old who she knew for a few weeks during summer vacation, and the gags become all too real. The makers of Grease were forced to include this song because Newton-John's contract had a requirement that she would have a vocal solo. Luckily, no one is contractually obligated to listen to it, and since most of the other songs are absolute smash hits, we have 2 throwback Grease videos that you should check out next. Convoy, C.W. McCall.
We about to go a hunting bear. 'Cause we got a great big convoy rocking through the night.
The 1970s sure were a bizarre time. Exhibit A, Convoy, a song about a rebellious group of long-haul truckers, sung by fictional character C.W. McCall. The song attempted to capitalize on the CB radio fad that was sweeping the country in the mid-70s. To protest unfair working conditions, the truckers Rubber Duck, Pigpen, and Sodbuster, all CB radio handles, break the speed limit, tear up their timesheets designed to make them get rest, and refuse to drive on toll roads, all the while talking in CB slang on their radios. So as far as rebellions go, a pretty minor one. I suppose that to a public that was in the grip of CB fever, the song had a certain appeal. But looking back on it 45 years later, it's hard to see what exactly that was. Hindsight is 2020, and today we can clearly see Convoy for what it is, a cheesy novelty song that doesn't need more than one listen. I do think that I kinda need a cool CB handle though. Maybe Nickstalgic, over and out. Midnight at the Oasis, Maria Muldaur.
Midnight at the Oasis.
Sometimes cheesy can mean sappy, sometimes silly, sometimes outdated. And Maria Muldaur's 1973 hit, Midnight at the Oasis, tidily indulges in all four of these definitions. A song about some good old-fashioned desert lovemaking. Midnight at the Oasis contains the not unproblematic lines, "I can be your belly dancer, and you can be my sheik." And, "I know your daddy's a sultan, a nomad known to all. With 50 girls to attend him, they all jump at his beck and call." Oof. But people apparently found this song to be super sexy. Muldaur has stated that to this day, people still come up and tell her that Midnight at the Oasis has inspired sexual encounters, pregnancies, and even the loss of virginity.
I didn't understand why a song about a camel, why is this taking the nation by storm? And
I guess when you hear the line, "and you won't need no camel when I take you for a ride," the only option is to immediately start having sex. The song, while a hit in its day, probably belongs buried in that very desert. Disco Duck, Rick Dees and his cast of idiots. This cheesy 1976 single was a no-brainer. The fact that the single is ambitiously dumb is self-explanatory. Annoying as all get out, self-evident upon listening. But here we go. Dees originally wrote the song in just one day. Wow, shocker. As a parody novelty mocking disco music. But as Nietzsche said, battle not with monsters, lest you yourself become a monster. And boy did Disco Duck become a monster. It shot up the charts to #1, was on every radio station in the country, and was featured in a scene from Saturday Night Fever. But unlike other songs on this list, I don't want the song to remain in the 70s. Far from needing to disappear. I think Disco Duck should be mandatory listening for all aspiring songwriters.
Stop it, please, I beg you!
Afterwards, we'd grab them by the shoulders, shake them, and desperately plead. Please, for the love of God, do not write music like this. The Blind Man in the Bleachers, David Geddes.
It's the last game of the season on a Friday night at home.
So far, we've had some pretty cheesy fare, but for this one, I'm gonna need you to take my hand and jump, cause we're diving into a massive fondue pot of life. David Geddes released The Blind Man in the Bleachers in 1975, and oh boy, is it something. The song tells the story of a high school footballer who's not good enough to ever play. His blind father sits right next to the announcer in the stands, and his biggest wish is to hear his son's name called when he enters the game. Then one day the father doesn't show up, and because of injuries, the boy plays the greatest game ever, rallying his team to victory. He then explains that his dad died earlier that day, went to heaven, and the boy played so well because it was the first game his dad could watch him play. Whew, cue the waterworks. It's as if every corny, stereotypically melodramatic trope was forced into one song. Fortunately, Geddes' song is no longer popular, so we're all saved from truly the cheesiest song of the 70s. Okay, that's all of them. No need to throw things, because these were some of the cheesiest songs of the 1970s. But if you liked some of them, let us know in the comments. Ooh, and add some cheesy 1970s songs that we left out. We want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed our cheesy playlist, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button for us and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a memory. As always, from all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks for watching. Now I gotta go make a grilled cheese.